Yulun Wang recently received the 2009 College of Engineering Alumni Award in recognition of his outstanding achievement in engineering or technology fields and whose accomplishments serve as a role model to future College of Engineering students. And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So Yulun, thank you so much for coming and speaking with us about your experience at ECE. And I was curious actually to find out more about your experience studying abroad. What you were able to gain from it, if you feel that your experience was translated now into your job here at InTouch, just your experiences with it.
So, are you referring to my postdoc?
Yes.
Okay, because the only studying abroad I did was actually when I finished my PhD. I did a 3-month postdoc in Montpellier in France, and it was actually at that point in time a gentleman named Professor Jean-Louis Armand was the chairman of the mechanical engineering department, and he was kind enough to set up this postdoc for me. So I was at the University of Montpellier for a summer in 1988, and it was a really enjoyable time. And I had the opportunity to travel throughout Europe and do some work with regards to robotics. I had just finished my PhD, so I was pretty current in a particular area of robotics, which is where I applied my energy in the laboratory. But I think it was just good grounding for starting to get out into the real world. It was not part of really the formation or the beginning of Computer Motion, which was my first company.
But at the same time, would you say that it was because of inner collaboration, I guess, within the departments at College of Engineering that enabled you to move forward and do the study abroad?
Yeah. In fact, yeah. It was actually, I graduated in the electrical engineering department, but it was the chairman of the mechanical engineering department who allowed me to do this postdoc in Montpellier. So it was clearly collaboration between the two departments.
Would you say that would be a strong point for UC Santa Barbara, that there's inner collaboration between departments? I think
the university does a very good job of collaborating between the departments. I think you note that plenty of the faculty members have joint appointments between more than one departments. And some of it even extends outside of the College of Engineering. I know of a couple, for example, who have joint appointments over into biology. And so I think it's an area that the college really tries to push, and I think it's doing so successfully.
Would you say that enabled you to work with different professors that you normally wouldn't have in your department, that you were able to reach across the campus or across different, to go from engineering into biology so that you could work with different professors?
I think where I've really gotten the most benefit of the cross pollination between different faculty members is really, quite honestly, actually after I've graduated, where I really have the ability to quite quickly, going in through the College of Engineering, to get to any type of expertise that I would be wanting to find, even outside of the engineering field, perhaps like even in psychology or biology. So
would you say that helped you start your first company to have, how did you start your first company? I mean, did you do the TMP program? Did you do capstones? Or?
This was all before that.
Okay.
This was before the TMP program, before the capstones. What happened was in the 80s, the UCSB won a major grant. I think it was $12.5 million, which may have been the largest grant he had won up till that point in time, to start a robotics center. And the Center for Robotic Systems was, at one point in time, it was one of the largest robotics centers in the country, and that's where myself and several of my colleagues here today went through our graduate school. I wanted to start the company because, you know, as a finishing PhD, I kind of had the choice of going into academics or going into industry, and I decided that I really wanted to develop products for whatever reason, as opposed to do research and publish papers. And so I decided to start a company, and it was really through contacts who are affiliated with the school that helped me take this academic knowledge and couple it with business expertise, which I needed in order to start the company. In fact, my first business mentor was a gentleman named Bob Duggan, who's a you know, I think he might be on the board of trustees, or he's closely affiliated with UCSB. In fact, was this past year's commencement speaker for, I think, the College of Letters and Science. And so I was fortunate enough to meet Bob, and I told him I wanted to build products. I didn't really know what a business plan was. I didn't know anything about how to start a company, and he really helped me a lot in terms of shaping that. And then I was able to pull in expertise from Steve Butner, my advisor. Another early faculty member we worked with was a gentleman named Yulun Wang, who's out of the computer science department, and we were able to get this company called Computer Motion going, which was the first company to develop surgical robots.
And as a father now with a child at UCSB, did you feel that he should also follow the path of engineering, since it was able to help you develop and have your own company, or did you just step back and let him do his thing?
So as a father of four, I've learned that parents have limited influence over what the child does or wants to do, and I'm no different. It's been very interesting. My son, who's 19, he just finished his first year at UCSB. You know, 2 years ago, something like a physics would have been the furthest thing from his mind. He's very musical, and he initially thought he wanted a major in music until he learned that enjoying playing music doesn't necessarily require you study music in college. And so when he figured that out, he really enjoyed playing music, and he does many hours a day. He found out that the math and the science evolving to physics is actually what he enjoys. And so it was really kind of more of a self-discovery process on his part than me trying to push him in any particular direction.